Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Hello, Steve. Hello, everyone who watches us today. And yeah, just drop in the comments how can you hear us and so on. Yeah. Okay, we are waiting for some people to come. Okay, we have a lot of people already. Hello, everyone. So we are just waiting another minute or two to let everybody who wants to join us. So, in the meantime, we just want to thank so much to all of you for being here today, and I hope this, I believe, about hour will be super useful for you. So, hello everyone, I can see all of your comments. I will, okay. Hello, Lisa. Hello. Yeah, I will highlight some of the comments. So, hello everybody. Hi. Um, oh, I can see familiar faces. Hello, Anthony. Yeah, hello. Okay, we can. Okay, perfect. Hello. Oh, it's a lot of comments to be honest, and yeah, amazing.
Lots of people here. Love
A
it.
lot of people here. Yeah, me too. Hello, Stephanie. I know a lot of people from previous webinars, so it's super to see all of you today. Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Where's everybody coming in from? It would be great to see where we've got people. Where
Yeah,
everybody's.
just drop in the comments.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Natalie.
Yeah, just want all of you be aligned with us. We are waiting for more people to come because we had a lot of people signed up. So we are waiting for all of you. Okay,
Michigan.
hello. Yeah, as
Nice.
well.
Beautiful Wisconsin.
Yeah, hello.
Germany.
Oh,
Maryland. London. Toronto.
Texas,
Knoxville.
Florida.
Richmond.
Yeah. Oh, we have aliens even.
Mars base. Sweet.
Yeah. Finland. Arizona, it's
Saskatchewan.
hot. Yeah. Hello from Brazil. Fabio. I know this guy. Hello. Austin.
Big Apple.
Oh, New York is here as well. Portland. Yeah.
Portland, Oregon.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm in Portland, Oregon. Hey, Susan.
Oh, you can have one-to-one session like offline.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. Okay. Netherlands. Oh, yeah.
Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Sheffield.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you all of you for sharing. Yeah. Hello. Some guys from India as well. Latvia. Oh,
Yeah. Everywhere.
hello. Yeah, basically Switzerland as well. Okay. I believe we are ready to go. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think I don't need another icebreaker because all of the people engaged and ready to move on. So hello from Georgia, from London again. Hello, Susan. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing. Today we are going to cover a couple of questions. California, Czech Public, hello. Yeah, today we are going to tell you about our meeting with Steve. So what is this webinar about? He will cover all of these ADHD related questions. He has a beautiful story to tell, to be honest. Hello from Canada as well. Yeah, hello from Colombia. Hello.
I love Columbia.
Yeah, it's nice to hear. I love all the people that we have today, to be honest, and all the places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Likewise. It's all great.
yeah. So today we'll have a short story about how we met Steve. So just a sneak peek, Steve was one of our users and we are blessed to have him. To be honest, we are blessed, of course, to have all of you guys. Even for, I don't know, someone from you, of you will be our future users, I believe. But still, we are super lucky to have these kind of people, super interesting people. And I remember I have a teammate, Andrew, and he uh, told me a story of how he met Steve, and it was incredible. Yeah, afterwards it will be a workshop from Steve. He will give you a couple of examples how he uses xTiles in particular. We will have a bonus, by the way, for all of you by the end of the webinar, and Q&A session as well. Yeah, so it will be, now we are ready to go. So I just want to highlight this topic real quick. I remembered a story from Andrew, my teammate, as I mentioned, and he told me about a guy who works only some number of hours per day. I do not want to spoil anything, and I was super excited because I can't believe it, to be honest, because from from the place where I am, you know, as much as you work, if you work more, you will earn more, and it was a completely opposite example. So it was, yeah, I don't know what has happened next, but from this point, we already have a couple of webinars with Steve. We always keep in touch, and yeah, just a super short story. Maybe Steve tell you a bit more about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one question. It will be recorded, so you will be able to see the webinar in future as well. So don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, it's just a pleasure to be here, and I just love working with Sergey and everybody at xTiles. I encountered them. I forget which YouTuber I saw talking about xTiles, but I remember seeing it and being very much like, wow, that's like, I've been struggling a little bit with Notion. I've been using Notion for a long time, and I wanted to create a dashboard for myself, a way to like present the information as I was working through. And I'll tell you more about the story, and I'll walk you through the whole dashboard coming up. But I could never get Notion to lay things out exactly the way I wanted to. It's just so tough. So then I stumbled on xTiles and I started using it. I said, wow, this is really good. Does exactly what I needed to do. And then I started talking about it, on LinkedIn and in the places that I publish. And then I don't know if it was Andrew who reached out to me, and I was like, wow, the maker of the software is actually reaching out to me. So I was like, this is awesome, like, because it's rare that you actually get to interact directly with the folks who are making the software and making the app that's really helping you and helping a lot of people. So yeah, we did one webinar with a couple other really cool coaches, and then we did another one, I guess, 2 months ago, and now we're here doing it again to kind of bring you the latest and greatest, and adding in some AI twists to this, to my dashboard, and also talking about how things, the success that you can see when you start leveraging these tools in the right way with the right frameworks.
Yeah, that's amazing story, because all the people I met, they say like, wow, it's a real person tries to outreach me somehow for some reasons, just for feedback to improve the service. And like it, people are shocked as they can do
Yeah.
it, because it's like era of AI agents and stuff like that. So wow. Yeah, it's one of the differences that we have. And yeah, although you have the possibility to interact with developers, with part of the team, to improve xTiles for yourself, and to share your insights, ideas, because we're building a product for you, not for us, just for ourselves. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, Steve, you can go ahead. I believe we are ready.
Okay, well, we're ready. I'm gonna take you on a little adventure today, and feel free to put questions in the chat as we go. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the state of planners and planning, and I'm gonna have something to share with you. I'm gonna walk through my dashboard. I'm gonna show you the new AI, how the new AI is like really taking it next level. So I'm really excited about that. So let me bring up my right window here, and we're going to talk about real ADHD planning, right? And so
Let's go.
let's do it.
Yeah, it works.
It does. We got it. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit so I can see the chat as well. Okay, so let's talk about this. So really what I started to happen and started seeing with my own experience with ADHD and people I was working with is like, what's the typical week in the life of a ADHD entrepreneur, right? If we go through, we start on Monday, we're like high hopes, really, really psyched. We probably got a great plan and we've probably overcommitted to a really ambitious list, but we're really psyched about that. By Tuesday, you got these unexpected tasks and fires that pop up. We start to feel a little distracted, maybe a little behind, a little discouragement. By Wednesday, it's like, how is it already Wednesday? And everything's sort of piling up. We're starting to lose a little bit of confidence in the week and in the self, in ourselves. On Thursday, it's like, okay, time to panic. I haven't done enough. We start getting into these indecision loops. We're thinking about, well, what should I focus on now? And often end up avoiding the important thing by doing everything else that is available to us. And then on Friday, we're sort of like surveying the wreckage and maybe indulging in a little bit of a guilt spiral. Why can't I just get it together and get this stuff done? And maybe along the way, we're probably Googling new planners or systems. And the weekend's all about catching up on everything we didn't get done, but setting a new plan and saying, again, this is the week. So just curious if that feels resonant. This Natalie's hooting with laughter. Yeah, I've lived this a lot. A lot of people that I've talked to lived it a lot, and that I work with. And this is the cycle, right? And so, what's the usual advice? Hey, get a planner, right? You see all these ads for, hey, use this planner, use this template, and I actually just want to challenge the whole notion of planning or get a planner, because for brains, yeah, maybe we can it, but that doesn't mean we're going to do it or that we're going to make progress. So what I'd like to say, instead of having real ADHD planning, let's call it real ADHD progress, because we know planning isn't enough, because we can have really great plans, but if we don't make the progress, then that's the issue. And a planner on its own may not do it. So let's talk about this thing, right? If the weeks, if that kind of experience that I described of navigating your weeks like resonates, right? And a lot of people are saying it's very real. It's the overcommitment, it's the overscope projects. And we're going to
Yeah,
talk.
I want to
Yeah.
have just a quick thought that, I believe I do not have ADHD, but when Steve goes through these ideas, well, I start to hesitate because I have the same. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and that's the thing with this, you don't have to have ADHD to have weeks like this. But boy, ADHD definitely puts us in position to like have this more often and have it more acutely. But the thing is, when we really think about it, weeks are the key, especially for ADHD brains. Weeks are the key for getting where we want to go. And that's because for ADHD brains who have a very, interesting relationship with time through time blindness, and just we're going to talk about that later, years and quarters are just way too far out to plan and to work to. And days are way too variable because things drop into our days like all the time, right? Whether it's life, whether it's business, whatever it is. So, and months actually depends on stringing together our weeks, right? So how our weeks go, our months go. So if we keep having challenging weeks or weeks where we're experiencing what I described, then we have a lot of, we're not making the progress we'd hoped or we want to, or we know we are capable of, and we live in that spiral. So I like to say, if you start nailing your weeks or making good progress in your week, everything else follows, right? And so what that does is it helps us kind of focus on, there's so many different ways and so many different approaches to like, managing your time or planning or whatever. But when it comes down to it, the week is the unit that we can really get our heads around and work with. So that's why I always talk about weeks. And for those of you who may not be familiar with me, just a quick a little bio here. Why listen to me? From the outside, I've been pretty successful. I took my first startup from idea to exit. This is me winning an angel competition in Portland, Oregon in 2008. Portland, we like to keep it weird. So that was an interesting interesting little presentation of a check there. I was able to take that startup from idea to a successful multi-million-dollar exit, and actually became the CMO of the company that bought us. And by the time I left, it was $100 million business, and I was reporting to a private equity board, and then left that in 2017 and started a multi-six-figure coaching practice. So from the outside, pretty successful. If you held this up, you'd say, hey, Steve did pretty well. But on the inside, it was a totally different story. I didn't get diagnosed till I was 54 years old. And that was 2 years ago now. And while I was experiencing all this stuff, I was experiencing ADHD. I just didn't know it, but I always felt overwhelmed. I was always paying the ADHD tax. So people said, hey, Steve, but you were successful. I mean, did ADHD hold you back? It's like, it kind of, I was able to pull it off, but there was a tax that I was paying the whole time in effort and in stress and in just mental regulation, emotional regulation. And that came to a head when I got older and started hitting a wall. And I hear that a lot with what I call a second act entrepreneurs, people who are maybe have been really killing it in their earlier careers, get to their later careers, whether it's an entrepreneur or whatever. And suddenly they show up and they just they're not able to make their brain do the things they used to make it do. And so daily struggle to focus, a lot of brilliant ideas half executed. And the whole time knew I was underperforming. Like, I know there's there's brilliance in there. And this is really something that hits a lot of people, that they know they're capable, and also that they were not able to enjoy downtime because we're always perpetually finishing up with an ADHD brain, catching up on the things that we didn't get done. So my mission since getting diagnosed a few years ago is to help ADHD entrepreneurs succeed, to get out of overwhelm, reclaim your focus, and achieve the success and freedom that you're capable in both business and life. And so I run the ADHD Entrepreneur Accelerator. We have a program. I have a podcast that we just launched that you can find. There's a YouTube channel, and I'm on LinkedIn at the ADHD Entrepreneurs LinkedIn newsletter. Okay, so let's go back to our weeks, right? So if we can have a good week, then we can start moving forward in the way that we thought. And so what I've come to believe as I've gotten to understand how my ADHD brain works, and it seems to work for a lot of other ADHD brains, is like there's three things that make a good week. One, that we're actually prioritizing the right things, which sounds simple, but for an ADHD brain, it's really hard, right? And then, do we actually make progress on those things, right? So as I said before, like, the planners are great, but planning, yeah, we can plan all we want, but it doesn't guarantee that we're going to actually do the things that we planned. And that's the challenge with ADHD too. And then what I've really come to understand is we got to be able to meet our ADHD brain wherever it is at that time, that week, that moment, because it's the brain we got. And if we try not to, or if we try to force feed it neurotypical things, it's going to eventually lead out to burnout. And so when we do this, and this is a quote from somebody who went through my weekly OS class course this past last month, and they said, wow, I was able to get on track with planning out all my tasks for the week. I didn't get stuck in analysis and paralysis, and just made it happen. They actually got it and did it. So let's just revisit why this is. Like, why is it more challenging for ADHD brains to master their weeks? And with ADHD comes reduced executive function, right? And with the reduced executive function becomes time blindness, which is an ability to estimate and ability to see how long things take, and how much time is passing, depending on how interested you're in or where you're at. Lots of procrastination, distraction, which we're all super familiar with. This challenge prioritizing with option overload, I call it the Great Wall of everything now. Like, everything is equally important and equally urgent, and all has to be done now. And and as Julianne said, sometimes you spend all your dopamine on the fancy system to plan a thing, and you don't have anything left for the actual doing. Yes, hit the nail on the head, right? So we get in this option overload. We also get the rejection sensitivity is heightened, emotional dysregulation, decision fatigue and paralysis. Our brains can really get, because it's really cognitively expensive to decide and prioritize and try to figure out what's the next step. And so that gives us also a greater chance of rumination, anxiety, and depression. And that also happens over time, because over time, if you see like, hey, I know I'm capable of this thing, I have the brilliance to do this stuff, but I can't seem to pull it off in the way that I know I could, over time, that starts to be, starts to bring us down. And so the way that I like to think about this is the way that Russell Berkeley talks about it, which is like superpowers and kryptonite. We have a supercharged part of the brain, which is sort of the back of the brain, the learning, knowing, ideating, creating, and that's paired with a very underpowered doing, or as Hollowell says essentially, we have a Ferrari engine with bicycle brakes, right? And so, yeah, I'm seeing that in the chat. Decision fatigue is the worst. That great well of everything now. Yeah, it's really. Once I started understanding this, it was just life changing. To understand the operating the brain that you're working with, and then once we do that, we can work with it. And this is what I love about what Russell Berkeley says. It's like, hey, ADHD, which is it's so poorly named. It's not a deficit of attention. It's a surplus. It's just a matter of being able to focus it on what and when we want it. And hyperactivity isn't always involved. I was never hyper, so that's never why I never thought I was ADHD. ADHD isn't an attention disorder. It's a performance disorder, right? We know what to do. We have trouble doing what we know. Right. And it's the getting started. It's the task initiation. It's all those things that is in the way of our brilliance. So 3 barriers. I like to break this down into 3 barriers that make it challenging to make things happen, right? Especially as an ADHD entrepreneur. 1, it's hard to prioritize and decide, right? As we talked about, the great well of everything now, everything urgent, everything at the same level of need. And it all feels like it has to be done like today or tomorrow. And because we aren't really good at estimating how long anything takes, we really get ourselves into trouble. It's hard to start and focus all the way to finish, right? That starting, as the people in my daily co-working group said, starting is harder than doing. It's like, once you get started, you can do, but boy, that's starting. I think what Tom Petty said, the waiting is the hardest part. I think the starting is the hardest part. And then it's hard to sustain over time. These are things that, compounding is something that doesn't just work for your bank account. It works in life and in your business. Is that by sustaining things over time, we start to build momentum and we compound on the efforts that we did before. When we're constantly starting or going in lots of different directions, we don't get that compounding. So what it breaks down to, it's harder to decide, it's harder to do, and harder to sustain, right? Those are 3 really important things that you need to do as an entrepreneur, right? If you can do those things consistently, you're going to make progress, right? And so ADHD brains have challenges in doing this. And part of it is, like, we've got all these productivity systems out there that promise us the world, but they're not really built for our brain, right? A lot of them are tools and not systems. Like, Notion's a great tool, but it's a blank page. Like, yes, you can put a lot of systems in it, but it's not a system in itself. The systems that are there have a sort of a bias towards neurotypical brains, in the sense that, like, what always cracks me up is I'll see like a productivity thing or a planning thing, and they'll say, okay, first, brainstorm all the things you could do, or do a brain dump, then prioritize, then do the next thing. And it's like, whoa, back up. Like, that then prioritize step is intensely hard, right? That is not simple. And then the fact is that we're going to create some neat to-do list and have it be in the right and actually be related to what we're going to do. And then also that we're actually going to do that. And so what they promise is planning but we don't get the progress, right? And that's was something that I kept hitting as I tried lots of different things. Even before I had it, I realized I had ADHD, and especially afterwards. And we just have to know that willpower is no match for a dopamine hunting brain. Like it's not one of the things that was really important to come to terms with. And I think everybody is like, hey, it's just a different type of brain. It's not being broken. And it's not a lack of discipline. It's because discipline, it's a finite, very finite level that we have of willpower and discipline. And our dopamine hunting brains will pretty much exceed that pretty quickly. So we have to work with our brains and understand how it works and leverage that in order to make the progress we want. And that's okay, right? So that understanding, as I said, a good week is always, the third thing is always like meeting your brain where it is. So what works for an ADHD brain? It has to start with that. It has to come from the understanding that we're going to need a little extra to be able to start, right? And that's why I host my co-working every day, sometimes called body doubling, but I have co-working sessions every day. And that's been the magic bullet for me. They keep you anchored in what's important, because one of the things that's really challenging with ADHD is that everything that's interesting is really interesting, but everything that's interesting isn't always important. And important is what we need to stay focused on if we're want to making the progress we want. So we need a system that constantly surfaces those priorities, because also with a working memory deficits, those priorities will disappear once they're out of sight, right? Out of sight, out of mind. And so we need a system that understands that and keeps things. And it isn't its own distraction. One of the things that is cool about tools is that they're really cool. One of the things that isn't cool about tools is you can tweak and play with them, a lot, and you can go down the rabbit hole. So it has to be that balance between it's actually moving you forward and it isn't its own distraction. And it needs to be adaptable to you. We're all going to be different. One of the things that, the reason I call one of my programs your weekly OS is because it has to work for you. And so it may use all the same principles, but you adapt it for you. Okay, so the secret I want to share with you to ADHD time estimation is we have no effing clue, right? Our brains are not good at estimating how long things take. Which can get us into trouble, right? Because we'll put something like, I remember I just put, I'm going to redo my website, and I just schedule it for an afternoon. And it's like, you're not going to redo your whole website in an afternoon. Like, it's just not going to happen. There's a lot more to it, but that would be my time blindness there. And so that gets us into trouble. And that's when we think about that weekly experience. Remember, Monday was that overcommit to a really ambitious list, right? And this is like the big source of it. So what I started to do, what I'm going to walk you through now, is talking about how I approach this stuff and why I use a dashboard versus a calendar to anchor my weeks. And the 2 hours, you said always add 2 hours, not enough a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you a trick with xTiles in just a moment as we walk through the dashboard. So why I use a dashboard versus a calendar? It took me a while to get this, because everybody was like, okay, use color coding on your calendar. And I'm like, well, I'm using the color codes, but everything still looks very busy, and I don't know what's important anymore. And my ADHD brain isn't good at keeping what's important and what's the whole point of everything in my mind. So that's where I started to create a dashboard. That's where I started getting stuck with Notion. That's where I came over to xTiles. So a calendar shows how all the time is allocated and where it's going and what our commitments are. But in doing so, it kind of hides the priorities. And I need the priorities. I need almost as little information, and I need the priorities to be surfaced, right? And so I want it to be at a glance. One page, keeps the priorities front and center, helps me not be surprised. Like, one of the things I hear a lot and experience a lot, oh, I forgot, I suddenly realized I had to do X, right? You're getting through the week, and then all of a sudden an email pops up. Oh, I forgot I had to do this thing, or I had to follow up with these people, or I had this stuff. And we want to not be surprised. ADHD brains tend to be very reactive in reactive mode because we're reactive to everything around us and paying attention to everything, but we're also reacting to all the stuff in our brain that we're churning all the ideas. And so we can get surprised. And then we has to adapt as needed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you my dashboard, and I'm going to start sharing that. Stop sharing the PowerPoint and start sharing the xTiles.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick feedback. It's I don't know, just amazing. I'm speechless. It's super interesting to hear, and I don't know. And I can see all the comments and all the feedback. So yeah, that's the best explanation that many people have ever heard. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where until I, really, it's funny because, I got the diagnosis, and in the US, it's very much a diagnose and prescribe. You have ADHD, here's your Adderall, off you go, right? But they don't really explain, well, how does your brain actually work, and how do you work with it? And I didn't really get that until I started working with a coach, an ADHD coach. And so here's my dashboard, and I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to try to boost the size a little bit so that it's clear. So it's a weekly dashboard. And so this is what I need. This is what's been working. This is what I've been teaching. And even if you don't use this exact format, I think the principles really help, address that kind of weekly cycle that we talked about. Okay, so here's my week. First thing here is my magnetic north. So one of the hardest things why prioritization can be so hard is because we always have to understand where we're going and how we want things to look and what our values are, because that's how we hold up every decision. As soon as we lose track of that, decisions get tougher because we're like, oh, this, we could do X or Y, but we don't know which one will move us forward. If we have this mission, right? So for me, my mission is, help ADHD entrepreneurs get out of overwhelm, reclaim their focus, and feel free in business and life. The current vision is a $50K a month online program course community, coaching solopreneur with help. Business provides a lot of space and abundance. And, I have these values: show up authentically every day, try to create ruthless simplicity, a little challenging for ADHD because we tend to fight against that, build for evergreen, and make the important interesting. And this is magnetic north. And the reason I call it magnetic north is it's got to pull you. It's something that's got to pull you because there's, with an ADHD brain, we're always getting distracted. We have shiny objects. We have, side quests. We have squirrels we're chasing, all these different things. So we need something that keeps pulling us back to where we want to, towards where we're going to go. Then we have care area. To me, it's the big 4 habits. Everybody can put on their own different, but it's sleep. Biggest one is sleep, right? Good sleep, better brain. Sleep, meds, exercise, or nutrition, right? So I use this just to keep track. And as a reminder, if it gets out of sight, I check in with this dashboard every day, first thing, and a few times a day, because it grounds me and say, okay, if I'm feeling a little bit off, did I sleep well? Did I have my med? Did I do my movement? Okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Let me anchor to my mission. And that kind of chills me out. Okay, another section over here, lingering decisions and unfinished stuff, right? So this is things that I've noticed that we can stay in the state of indecision. Like, we've done all the research because research is fun, but making the decision is harder. And for whatever, we don't do it. And that starts to fill up our brains and starts to create more background noise, even if we're not actively processing it. So I like to have a place to stash that stuff. Okay. Because then I can keep it out of my brain and then make the decision. Okay, so then we get into rocks and bottlenecks and smallest next steps. So this is something I teach, and when I'll talk about it in the program I'll describe later on, is we have to get from here, our magnetic north. we're not there yet, but we want to get there. So we need to establish some waypoints. There's going to be some obstacles, and they're going to turn into the things, the rock or the project that we're going to need to do to move forward on that, and then we're going to have a next step. Right? What's our smallest next step? And so what I always have this up here on a quarterly basis. I limit it to 3, because if you have more than 3, you've got too many. You're not going to be able to do that. And then I'll create the projects. And I love having things on one page and organized, because if it's on one page, I can keep it in mind. And I use the toggle to create the project, and then I have tasks in here, right, that are part of the project. And so I will brain dump a bunch of projects here, and then and I'll tell you why it's called the 2-hour workday priorities. And then I will narrow them down by what I think is going to be doable this week and what's going to move me forward the most. So I like having the limitation here, because it really it's so easy to just overload yourself. And then what I'll do is I'll identify the week's most important thing. This week, crush this webinar is my most important thing. And then I have my day blocks. And what I have, like the time blocking, I found is like classic time blocking is just too cognitively expensive. As somebody said before, hey, by the time I've actually plotted all that stuff out, I don't have the energy, the executive function left to actually do it. That is why I started thinking about, okay, I have a 2-hour workday because on average, I'll have 2 hours of really peak executive function to work with, where I really can count on myself doing stuff without getting too distracted. Some days it's more and I'm in the group. Some days it's less because I'm tired. But if I've got the 2 hours, basically what is important enough that goes in those 2 hours that I really want to know that it's going to get done. I want to give it the best chance of getting done and moving forward. I want to match that with where my peak executive function is. And so basically I have a 2-hour workday window and then everything else. Like that's my time blocking. And so I'll take these tasks and I'll essentially just drag them into the day, right? So if I've got something I'll be doing here, I'll be doing, maybe I'll be designing some stuff, and I'll just drag it in. And so I'll just move it around. And then if my day goes sideways, then I just move it around. And I'll just do that. And then I'll check it off. And what I have here is basically priorities for the week. I actually don't integrate my calendar. I'll go somewhere else for that, because every time I see my calendar, it's, obviously got to have it. But for my purposes, I just want to see priorities. And so this is how I see that. Okay, so let's talk more about. So we talked about this is the really exciting part, and I hope it works as it does. So one of the things I talked about was getting surprised. Like that Monday, we're overcommitting to this ambitious list of really amazing stuff we want to do, and so what happens is we'll have this amazing idea for a project, or we'll look at this stuff and we'll have a project, and we will just think like I do. Like I'd say, I want to redo my website. I'll just schedule it for that afternoon. It's not going to happen in an afternoon, but my brain just doesn't get the time. So what we do here is, now that the AI in xTiles has come into every tile, this is so cool. I can go in here and say, like I want to have a mini course for this dashboard. And I saved a prompt for it, and I say, I want to create a mini course for my weekly dashboard template. Please break it down into tasks with time estimates. And I'm going to just throw it into this tile. So you can choose where to put it as a new tile on a new page or into this current tile. I like putting it on this current tile just because then it's already in my flow, right? And so it's one way to use it. And Suri's going to be able to talk to you through all the other different ways. This is just the way that I found to be really helpful, so I don't get surprised. So I can actually potentially, see a project for how long it's going to take. So I'll ask it to do it. It'll do its little squares, and it'll make it look good and structure it smartly and all the things. And then sometimes it does this where it goes into the ether, and I'll just redo it again. It puts it in here.
Yeah, it has created everything under means. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And what I want to do is put it in its own area. We'll see. We'll get it to do this. And that's one of the things about AI in general. There we go.
Yeah.
Right. So now
I just want to highlight, my apologies.
Yeah.
When I want to highlight, it's not required to have a paid plan to use AI in our place. Yeah.
Yep. So there, it's already broken it down into all the phases and all the things, and it's estimated it all the time. So right then and there, it's like, okay, I know that this isn't going to take an afternoon, right? I know it's going to take longer to do that. And so what I can do then is say, I'm going to turn this thing into a toggle. So I have it here, and now it's all under this project, right? And I can start dragging it into different parts of it into my work days and into my 2-hour work weeks. That is super powerful for ADHD brains and for any brain, really, is to be able to have that estimation right then and there. So we stop getting surprised by this stuff. So I wanted to give you a taste of it. Like I did the walkthrough last time we did this webinar, and this wasn't available yet. I used to use other tools to do this, and now with the AI built in, I'm loving it because it helps me actually understand again that Monday of problem of overcommitting to the overambitious list, right? So that's sort of the setup for us to have these kind of crazy weeks. Cool. So that's my share on the dashboard. And I've got a few more things on the slide. And I think we'll take a look at a few other questions here at the moment. Yes, I'm using the toggle to house projects. 2-hour workday. Yes. 2 hours of productive work. If you get, and this is what happens, this is why I host the co-working every day, is it's 2 hours, and if you move forward the right stuff, the rest of the day is gravy. Like if you get more stuff done, great. If you don't, hey, you made progress. You pushed something forward, and ideally on the important stuff. Okay. So I still, yes, I'm sharing this.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So this is how we want it to be, right? We want to be able to realize our immense potential. Like we have the brilliance. It's in there, right? We're ADHD brains. We see so much. We make connections. We think out of the box, and all the cliches around like innovating. And so if we can confidently prior to decide, if we can consistently start, focus, and finish, and if we can sustain over time, we're gonna be amazing, right? We're gonna realize that brilliance. We're gonna make good on that promise, right? And so what do we need to do to do that? So let's look at the decide, getting out of overwhelm. And overwhelm is almost like more of a lack of clarity. We've got a lot. We got that great wall of everything now. Clarity leads to focus. Once we're clear, we can focus. Once we're focused, we can get into action, because when we're overwhelmed, it's hard to get into action because it's a little paralyzing. And then action leads to that sense of freedom. Like, hey, we did it. I just had one of my group express, she's just so looking forward to the weekend because she got everything done and she could actually enjoy the weekend, and it was pretty amazing. So what we need is a magnetic north, which I just described. This idea of rock-based prioritization of like, what's the obstacle, and then that becomes the rock, the thing that we're going to actually anchor our action to, and the project reality checker, which you just saw an example of that xTiles so kindly has built in to their tool. On the doing side, right, we need to be able to consistently start. And so that 2-hour workday of just like, hey, we don't have to brace for 8 or 9 hours. We just have to find the 2 hours that we can commit to the most important things. And if we know what the most important things are, then we can put that in there. We have to have a bit of a focus shield, a distraction shield, and then that's no fail starting, that ability to start, to get over the hump. And that's where the co-working really comes in, body doubling, co-working, however you want to call it. I call it co-working. And then to sustain, we have to ongoing long-term manage our dopamine. That's our big peaks and valleys. We have to stay away from routines. Routines get boring. Boring gets tough to stay with. Rituals are interesting, and the way we actually add interest into doing things that repeat. And then we absolutely need a supportive tribe. One of the things that I've learned so much is that you can't do it alone. Like if it's, ADHD brains have a way of isolating themselves, but when we do it together and we get into a group with other brains that understand each other, it's amazing what happens. And that support where people can show up and say, hey, here's what I got today. I'm focusing, like I'm awesome, I'm crushing it. Or like, yeah, I'm all over the place today. I'm tired. I didn't get good sleep. And have people say, hey, I know where you are. I know how that feels. And what happens when you get these things, when you put those elements in place, is what happens when we did our last Your Weekly OS course. And just some really powerful transformations here. These are actual quotes from folks who finished up the course. One person said, my ADHD brain was telling me to give up. It's too hard. Having a place to show up daily, which both makes me accountable and supports me in this unique ways, quite frankly, beyond my wildest dreams. You're encouraging me to get to know myself and meet myself exactly where my brain is functioning daily instead of fighting it and beating myself up. Another person wrote, I got the real work done. The fact that I got like all 5 email sequences and social media done yesterday means I was able to give that all to my VAs. My whole team is working on it now, and it's off my plate. That is almost miraculous. Before Your Weekly OS, I was giving up before I even began working, and I nearly lost all self-confidence that I should even be working in my field anymore. Since starting, I've achieved many small wins, which enabled me to get on track with a big project. I was able to communicate with my clients promptly rather than being frozen with anxiety and fear of adding more to my plate. Simply, I got more done in the last 40 minutes than I've done in the past 2.5 months. And finally, as a solopreneur recently diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 47, this course has been a pivotal step towards getting my business and life in general flowing in a more positive direction. It has helped me develop more effective project and self-management skills without the guilt and feelings of being defective. I mean, this is huge transformations here. And so this is all from this program called Your Weekly OS, or Build Your Weekly OS. And it's been really a pleasure to partner with xTiles on this. And I'm starting up the next cohort on August 4th. I want to invite you to check it out. And what it consists of is a live workshop on the 4th. We've got 3 weeks of co-working every day at starting at 8 a.m. Pacific. We've got weekly live learning sessions. You get the OS dashboard, xTiles template, and this is where it's cool. And you get a year of xTiles Plus access. And I believe we're doing it again, that if you already have xTiles Plus, I think they'll extend your subscription another year. So all the information is there. And if you register by end of day tomorrow, I'm going to throw in a special bonus for you guys of a 20-minute one-to-one coaching session with me. So that is what I've got for you. I'm here for questions, and really happy and sorry, I can hand it over to you, and we can take it wherever you want to go.
Yeah. I have maybe not only one, but some kind of a feedback that what I love about Steve, that it's not only about ADHD and how your brain works. As you can see, Steve is a pretty successful guy, man, obviously. And to be honest, I was going to ask Steve to become a part of this program as well, because it's amazing that you can be guided by such a guy and by such a skillful person that understands not only like himself, but can help other people. And well, I can really see the value of it, and I believe it's yeah, it can be uh, available not only for people with ADHD, like ADHDers or ADHD brains or whatever, but we are talking about this North Star and so on. So I believe uh, these are things that can help you become successful in general in your life, and to get this community of people that think like you and who supports you and who can give you right, I don't know, just this vibe of productivity. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's priceless, and we are super lucky to have Steve once again doing our webinar. And yeah, our part of it that we were blessed to have Steve as a user. And as next step, well, obviously for all the people who does know about xTiles in general, it's like Steve showed. It's about organizing all the information in front of you. It doesn't like obligated to have the same template as Steve has. You can have slightly less or maybe slightly more or whatever. You can find your own way, because in our place do not have some things like right or wrong. We have a lot of different ways how to use xTiles, because some people they like databases, some people like to throw all of the ideas in front of them, like using our tiles like digital sticky notes. I don't know. And yeah, for many people it's almost the same. So yeah, yeah, that's my feedback, to be honest, and I can see a lot of feedback from our attendees. And thanks you all. Just want to mention that tomorrow we will have another webinar. It will be related to AI in our place. So it will be like another coaching, but coaching about xTiles in general. It will be Q&A all along. And yeah, today I just want to stop on coaching with Steve, this weekly OS, everything that he has from his side. And tomorrow we can talk a bit more about xTiles, because I just want to assure you that, well, first of all, xTiles is pretty simple to understand, especially if you tried a huge amount of different applications like Notion and other tools, because we are not database first. We are like this creative page first with these boxes of information, like we call them tiles. And yeah, basically they look like sticky notes. You can organize everything. And if you are stuck, we have this kind of possibility to meet the team and to have onboarding webinars, onboarding sessions, even one-to-one sessions completely free of charge. So yeah, I believe it's a great deal. Yeah, something like that. So that's my feedback. And yeah, I also want to say that if you have some more questions, we have up to 7 minutes, I guess. And yeah, Steve and I can answer all of them. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And
Happy to
yeah,
answer questions.
I just want to highlight some of the comments. So thank you so much. Yeah, by the way, it can help with the new My Planner feature, because you can use this template in your planner, and you can duplicate it all the time. So yeah, I believe it can work. Thank you, Willow. I love Willow because yeah, it's like I can see this individual like almost through all of our webinars, and yeah. All of you can ask questions to Steve. So yeah, do not
Yeah.
hesitate. You have some time left. So yeah,
Yeah. Lay it on me.
yeah. A lot of feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Steve, maybe you can ask this question. How does yeah, you can see this question.
Right. So the 8 hour, yeah. So how does an 8 hour workday, a 2 hour workday and an 8 hour day, how do you actually reconcile that, right? Because the it's very rare that you can only work 2 hours a day. The premise is the mindset of knowing that putting the things that most need to get done where your 2 hours are going to be most effective is going to be the win. You may work more hours the important thing is that you got the most important things stuff moved forward, right? And so the 2-hour workday is just that kind of almost mental discipline, or that mental exercise of saying, I've only got 2 hours, so therefore only these things can make it into those 2 hours. So 2 hours is basically 4 25-minute sprints with a little 5-minute breaks in them, right? So it starts to be a little bit of a forcing function to say, okay, now I actually have to start thinking about that great wall of everything now, and really making a call about what absolutely needs to go in there and what doesn't need to go into this 2-hour workday. So it's really about the mindset and the framework of thinking about how to allocate your executive function.
Yep. Thank you. Another question related to your weekly OS.
Oh, okay. So the schedule. So the schedule is, the workshop will be the 4th starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern time, and later in the evening in Europe. And it will go for 2+ hours. I've kind of blocked out 3. I will keep it interesting for those 2 hours, 2+ hours. I don't think we'll go the whole 3 hours. But so that's the kickoff. And then each week for the next 2 weeks after that, we'll have at the same time, a 90-minute kind of live session, and that'll be to help people to get the answer any questions, discuss some of the course units, and to help people like implement their system. Like my goal is that you leave that 3 weeks with your weekly OS implemented, so that you're already starting to work it, and you have and so each session will build on that skills and support you on that as well.
Good. Another question related to xTiles. We do not integrate to this Jot form platform or application, no. But we do have our own forms, our own databases, so you can keep everything in one place, basically. So I also had some kind of a feedback from one of our users, and she said like xTiles is a great place to keep everything under one roof. So yeah. Yeah, another point of view about 2-hour window also gamifies the working process. It's it's nice, great idea, I believe. Yeah, and it will be definitely a self-pressure to get all the things done. Yeah.
So
Another question for you, Steve. Yeah.
What would you recommend for someone in college, uni with ADHD? There's a lot of work I want to do, like studying, but it all gets overwhelming quickly. I mean, again, it's sort of mastering the weeks. Like the thing with ADHD that I find is you've got to shrink the containers of what you're dealing with, right? Because as soon as you get out past a week, or you get past too many options, you get into this paralysis and flow, and you get into this spin loop where you're not able to figure out what to do next, and that makes it harder to start, right? So keeping it, thinking about the week, understanding where your brain is. If you're a student, there's only a limit. There's a limit to how much you control your own calendar. Same with it as being an employee, and so it's about, again, taking a brain first approach. What does your brain need on a given day? How can you best leverage the executive function you have? I like to say that executive function for ADHD folks is like insulin for diabetics. Like, you want to think about it as a resource that you're managing. And using that approach, I think will help you. Morgan's asking about how many people will be in the workshop. It'll be a smaller group, I think. Last time we had about 20 people in it. I don't know what we'll get this time, but everybody gets some nice attention. And the community that has grown up around the co-working session, the daily co-working sessions happen every day at 8 a.m. Pacific time. That's where a lot of the magic happens. And yeah, it's just a great, the people that came through it last time, they're still part of our community, and it's such an amazing community. So yeah, really encourage you to do it. I don't know when I'm going to offer this live again for the rest of the year. So if you want to do it and take advantage of getting the one-on-one coaching with me, if you do it, register by tomorrow end of day. You will not regret it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, replay is already available, I guess. So you will be emailed like it depends where did you get an email from, like from our place or from another service, let's say. So one part of our audience have already got an email, and if you came from other place, I don't know, you will be emailed maybe half an hour later, something like that. Yeah, I'll cover another question. This related to discount for xTiles
Yeah.
plans. So today we are offering only bundle with Steve because it's priceless, to be honest. And we do promote some of the promotion codes during our webinars, like onboarding webinars. So we will have one of these discounts tomorrow as well. Yeah, and we had one of them last Wednesday, I guess. So you can go through. Yeah. Okay, can you see more questions, Steve?
Yeah. So yeah, the learning sessions are at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and the co-working starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah. Another question: is the weekly OS dashboard template available outside of the weekly OS offer? I think it's like everything inside, something like that. So we do not have this template even on our site, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I have it. It won't be there's going to be an enhanced template for the weekly OS. There is on my site a link to a previous version, but there's going to be more add-ons, and you get definitely a more robust template with the course.
Yeah. And another question about integration, like your personal life plans and activity in this OS. I believe it is possible to do.
Yes.
I just want to highlight one idea again, that we do not have, no, it's not a rigid structure at all. You can reorganize everything. You can change all the colors, all the styles. You can do as much appealing for yourself as possible. It's not something strict, rigid, or whatever. So you can combine everything like literally in one place. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely integrate.
Yeah, another question. It is more about xTiles than about this bundle. I believe most of this bundle is just these sessions with Steve, coaching, this group of brilliant people. But xTiles is quite future rich, even on our free plan, because we do not have any trials or whatever. But we have some of the paid plans with enhanced features, all the templates. Especially we do have some of ADHD related templates for all the people. We have a lot, and with only one subscription you can get an access to everything. Of course, there are like unlimited storage. You can upload files. You can work with AI unlimitedly. You can have as many projects, pages per projects, and so on. And yeah, a lot of features, to be honest. And if you want to, we can go mend you, I don't know, go you through all of these capabilities and so on. So if you are still hesitating, just email me. And yeah. Yeah, I believe we can cover a couple of more questions, and it will be it. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah. Lucy's asking if I can't attend one of the live sessions will be recorded to listen to later on. Absolutely, it will. The recording, the transcript, all the replays will be available. And it's a great, and I've also created a very much a kind of gamified course using a platform called Experientify. So it's very it's a lot of fun actually, and some really cool bonuses within the course that are kind of surprises.
Okay, I can see one more question from Morgan. Do you use this N application?
I still use Notion more and more because other people are using Notion and I'm invited into them. But I'm increasingly, I mean, I spend most of my time in xTiles versus Notion. So more and more, the migration is happening over to xTiles.
Yeah, just want to say that well, while xTiles isn't a brand new application, but we are still not that mature as, for example, Notion, because they are operating on this productivity market since 2013, I guess, and we had our public release only 3 years ago. So more and more people will get to use the xTiles in general and implement that into their workflows. Weekly OS, I believe, and yeah, everybody uses other applications because they already know about them. So we try our best to introduce xTiles to more people. Yeah. Okay. I think we do not have any more questions, like new questions from our audience attendees. I just want to say, like, big thank you to Steve, to all of the people that we have. And yeah, some of the comments. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for transparency. Yeah, thank you. It's yeah, it's a good question, and we want to be honest with you, of course. And yeah, I hope all of you found something helpful. And yeah, I believe working with Steve will be life-changing experience for all of you. It is for us already. Yeah,
For me
so
as well. Yeah. Thank
yeah,
you.
so thank you, thank you again. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to thank all the people who say who thank us,
Yeah.
who say thank you. Yeah, thank you, thanks a lot. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Steve, once again, thank you
Yeah.
so much for being that responsive, for creating something absolutely. I believe you can find something like this on the market because it's completely transparent with you, and you know, their information is priceless. And yeah, thank all of
Yeah.
you.
Thanks everybody for being here. It's been a pleasure, and hope to see you in your weekly OS course. And wishing you all an amazing day.
Yeah, thank you so much, and take care. Just want to say, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach us out. Maybe you have, I don't know, any questions, just go ahead and ask. Yeah. Okay. So
Hey.
thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, дякую.